heart attack.
Moving on to some juicy news of listen, this shit kinda shit started hitting the fan very, very quickly, and I didn't even realize how much damage this game did, but okay, really, let me just go through the history of Concord. Concord launched on August 23rd, 2024 for PlayStation and PC. Due to extremely, and I wanna say emphasize the extremely low player count and poor sales, Sony announced it would take the game offline on September 6th, 2024. I want to repeat, this game was released August 23rd. And they said they would take it offline September 6th. That's 2 weeks after launch. I've never seen that shit happen in the history of gaming. Even the Dreamcast lasted longer than 2 weeks. Like, damn. I mean, and Sony permanently shut down the studio firewalks and canceled the game's development by, October, but whatever. I didn't even know about this game until the topic came up on the topic list. So that's how hard Sony has tried to bury this game. Because I didn't even know about the game. Apparently, it had an estimated development budget of $200 million. It had already spent $200 million before Sony pulled the plug to shut it down. It was considered extremely expensive for a live service hero shooter, and that's probably why a lot of other live service games that PlayStation was in development ended up canceling. Now this kind of makes sense to what probably spearheaded that whole, hey, that live service shit, hey, we cutting that shit. So like I said, they spent $200 million. Sales were extremely low. Fewer than 20 to 25,000 copies were reportedly sold before taking the game offline. Steam numbers show under 1,000 concurrent players on launch. Some devs said the player count was under 50 players. That is horrible. Horrible. Listen, and the whole reason why this is getting stirred back up is because a fan project, Concord Delta, is under scrutiny. The team behind it consists of modders and developers named Red, Open Wizard, and some other people. The main visible targets so far have been YouTube videos showing the game running on these custom servers. These videos have been hit with a DMCA takedown notices. They went fucking Nintendo on their ass. Hey, cease and desist. The fan Discord server has paused new invites because of the worrying legal action that Sony is taking. Takedown notices are being issued vis-a-vis firm Mark Scan. I guess this is a big studio that goes after people on YouTube and shut them down. I think Nintendo has used them, and then Sony apparently they've been under them for a long time. But like I said, Concord was officially shut down by Sony. Official servers were closed and the game became unplayable in its original form. Because the IP is owned by Sony, fans' revival efforts exist in a legally gray zone area. The fan-made custom servers operate by reverse engineering, meaning they likely use copyrighted assets, backing code, and server protocols without Sony's permission. This triggers copyright risk, and why they're sending them cease and desist. Sony and Mark Scan appear to be issuing takedowns to remove evidence of the game running on these custom servers and limit spread of a revival movement to bring this game back online. Listen, all that to say, Sony said, hey, that shit never happened, and we're gonna make sure people think that it never happened. This is extreme. I've never seen Sony move like this. And then I've never seen a big fuck up game from Sony like this. Listen, is this game more looked at as a failure than that one game from Nintendo we talked about? What was that name of that game? Damn, what is
the Virtual Boy?
Yeah, which one is a bigger failure? This or the Virtual Boy?
It'll probably have to be this, and I'm gonna break it down. Let me breathe in, because there's a lot of things my cousin didn't talk on, didn't hop around. I'm gonna break it down for you all. She said 200 million. I had the full story. When it was all said and done in Sony shelves, it was 4+ million. They had already blew through 200 million By the time Sony went to purchase them and got involved, and they spent another $200 million to get it across the finish line. So that's four. That's $400 million. And you damn right. That's why all those other live service S games was getting the axe, because they're like, hey, we can't afford for more of this shit not to work. Concord, from interviews and everything else in between, there was a bad toxic positivity in the game's development. From Herman Host and hire other execs was really blowing smoke up Sony's ass with them telling like, yo, this will be our Star Wars. This game will be huge. That's why before the game came out, that Amazon show, it had an episode starring it, and it was like, yo, the game ain't even out. How you got, they made controllers. They were already in the marketing beat of making more merchandise for it because they just believe this will take off. This will be the next huge thing. And I don't know why, but they had it a workplace culture where if you say anything negative about this game, put him on the third floor. We don't want that kind of negativity here. That's one issue. This is looked upon as not just Sony, but the greatest, biggest failure in gaming. I think they said this eclipsed the ET debacle on the Atari. That's how big this is. And then to go into what you were talking about as far as the legal aspect of this fan revival project, I've seen Sony move. They've never moved like this, because there was a fan made project for a Bloodborne card game, and Sony hit them up and was like, hey, we ain't got a problem with y'all doing this. Just take the name Bloodborne out of it. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. They was able to make that project. And I believe it was, and then they didn't sell it. They gave it away. That's the other big caveat. Did not sell it. The issues with this fan project was when Sony decided to pull the plug on this, they refunded everybody. Whether you requested the refund or not, they refunded everybody for this fucking game digitally.
Okay.
So the legal ramifications and aspects into it is, if you got it, let's just say for someone who did not get a refund and they still, quote unquote, have the game on their computer, whatever the case may be, and they play this fan revival thing, and for whatever reason the average consumer, and they don't know this was done by a fan and it's not done by Sony, and something goes wrong or they have an issue, they're more inclined to go try to see legal ramifications or whatnot with Sony rather than the fan people. So Sony's making sure, okay, to distance themselves. That's one. The piracy thing. Now, I did do my homework on this, and the people behind the fan project was saying that this was only open and playable to the people who have bought the game and I guess still have whatever files or whatnot on the computer to play it. It will not just be given out to be played or, in a sense, pirated like that, because they thought of this scenario. But Sony is like, go back to what you said, with probably copyrighted material, infringement, use of whatever backdoor system, that they're like, hey, you all cannot do this. This is a huge thing. This is some Nintendo-esque shit. Like, hey, we don't want you touching this. We don't want you talking about it. We don't want people even remembering this. It is that big of a stain. And then, not to mention, this was greenlit and approved by who was that CEO of PlayStation retired? The Jim guy, the old CEO, other guy, Jim. This is all under him, because the new CEO, a Japanese guy, he is with none of this. He is with none of this. He is about, hey, this ain't what the fuck we do.
Mhm.
We make highly curated single player game. That's what we known for. That's what people buy our systems for. That's what we do. Now, as far as margins and everything go, we can work on that. We'll fix that. Don't worry about that. But they were swift to shut this down. And I want to say this too. This is straight directly to the consumers. I'm gonna back you up, Sony. I don't do this often, but when I do, I'll make sure I let it be known. This is the consumers' fault. How are you trying to do a fan revival of it, but it didn't sell? Now, I'll admit it did not sell because, one, it's hero shooter genre. People don't give a fuck about that number. Even Overwatch, people are done past that. Yeah, you got your people that still play it here and there, but that time has come and it has gone. And no one bought it here. Matter of fact, it's just like what my cousin said. I'm gonna use the Dreamcast. Everyone harps on, yeah, I love the Dreamcast. Oh, it was amazing. Great system. Yeah, I played it. Look here, motherfucker. Everybody didn't play it because it died. It had 10 million sales. So I don't know how 50 million people talking about it. Don't jump on the bandwagon now that it's gone. Where were you at the beginning?
Where were you when I needed you?
Where were y'all when you all when they needed you? Where were you? So don't do that. Don't do that. Now, I played both betas for this game. It was a very vibrant, bright ass colored game. But let me be honest with you all. And I know it's gonna sound biased because I'm not a first person shooter person, but I do dwell in them. Its mechanics and its feel was real off. It seemed kind of moved sluggishly. Even the aiming, the ADS wasn't all there. But your audience had issues with the woke slopness attached to it with certain characters. People felt they were trying to capitalize on the joy and love for Guardians of the Galaxy, because when they put out that initial trailer, that's what the fuck it looked like. It looked like a B grade Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And then when the trailer ended, oh, this is a game. Maybe you guys should have led with gameplay instead of this cinematic trailer. There were a lot of things that people did not feel or like about with this, but don't go trying to bring it back when you weren't there in the beginning.
Yeah.
But like I said, I ain't never seen Sony move so quickly, but I can understand why. This is a stain. This is a demerit on their report card, on their what they call it? They call it in schools your
Your
personal
GPA.
permanent record. There we go. Your permanent record.
Oh.
This is a stain on their permanent record. Everyone, this is now in the same talks, the 2011 PSN hack. If anyone ever got anything negative to say of Sony or PlayStation, how they handled things, that 2011 hack, how it happened, how they responded to it, and then Concord, how you all just assumed you were making a game that was going to be in the same realm as Star Wars, and the product ain't even came out. You do not make products. You cannot make a IP and say, hey, it's going to be big like that. The consumer makes that decision.
Yep.
Pokemon was not made off of, hey, it's going to be the biggest brand ever. Consumers made it that. But I'm not going to harp on. I'm going to get into a long tangent. This is going to be 4 hours go by and I'll still be talking about this. I'm just going to break it down to you like this. Let this go. When I saw the news of this, I was shocked because this was the shot heard around the world. Pull the plug on that. Most games get a few months. This was 2 weeks. This was someone's first paycheck at a job that was gone. I don't miss it. I don't want it back. You already know how I feel about first-person shooter games, and it was online only. This game will live in infamy because being one of the rarest and now unobtainable platinum trophies, and people who bought the physical version of it and did not seek a return, I don't know why, are now trying to sell the game for like $200 plus, and they try to sell the controllers for $400 plus. Oh yeah,
my
look up on
God.
eBay. Look up on eBay. Concord physical game. They want $100 for it. For some, you can't even play. Hell, they were so embarrassed by this that even though they pulled the plug on the game, hey, they pulled the plug on you even buying the controllers. You could, a few days after they let this go, if you went to the PlayStation Direct store, you couldn't get the controller anymore. That's how quickly they was like, hey, you need to Men in Black this shit. We need you to neuralize every fucking body. They scrub this shit from everywhere because Steam reported that, like, yo, you bought that game, you didn't have to request a refund. Probably gave it to you like, hey, take your money back. Hey, pull back that license right for them to play this. They were not playing. This was their greatest failure. And the reason why I say is bigger than the Virtual Boy is because the Virtual Boy was hardware. This was software. And so much was put into it. Every now and then you'll find some crazy ass Nintendo fan who want to collect it or talk about, oh, it was okay. It was good, whatever. This was across the board. Hey, what the fuck is this game? And like you said, 25,000 sales? Party PlayStation game?
Globally.
Granted, live service, but still, that's bad. I didn't got my little rant off, but that's bad. When I saw this news, I was like, yo, this gotta be fake. Let me go to 4chan. Let me ask AI. This can't be real. I checked so many outlets before I was like, we're gonna run with this. Because I just didn't believe it. Because don't nobody talk about Concord no more. Unless they talk about like, yo, this is why Sony is tightening it up. 400 million. And the only reason they did what they did, shutting it off so quickly, is I guess because due to whatever the rules are, canceling a project and writing it off to get money back, I guess it's a time frame on that. That's why they did forced returns. So they could say, yeah, this was a bad thing. We canceled it, get whatever money back. You can't have somebody running around, hey, I played that. What do you mean you took that back? Played that game? Yeah, that was that sauce. They was like, hey, get him. MIB. You ain't playing shit. Yeah, this was a big one, but that's
Yeah,
all I got.
yeah, I guess my thing is, like, learning about the game and the whole thing and the debacle that it was. Why would anybody wanna revive if you had a list of options of revival things you could do, why did you pick Concord? And like my cousin said, you had to still have the file and all that, so that's, like, a limited amount of people around the world, like, why pick
Mm-hmm.
Concord? I guess that's where I leave this video off at. Why to those people, why Concord? I guess I don't know. Obviously it's not even worth your time because according to your own rules, only a small number of people will actually get to play it. So why even
Mm-hmm.
deal and go up against Sony and their little firm, and they already sent you cease and desist, baby? Let it go. Let it go. Let it
Oh yeah.
rest peacefully, like Sony wants it to rest and go gently into that good night to where nobody remembers this bullshit. Like, let it
Oh yeah.
go.
When they came out, I think the leader of the project said, to make sure they didn't get illegal water, you had to have had the game and whatever little remnants or whatnot, you had to still play it. So that they would not have to worry about somebody saying they're distributing it and it's piracy and whatnot, because that opens you to a huge, huge door of lawsuits, a la Nintendo. So even still, like you said, why? I mean, I understand every game or genre has its niche, but
Mm,
but
mm, mm.
that's all we got. Let us know.
Yeah.
Did you even play the game when this happened? Did you play the beta? I ain't even gonna say the
Yeah.
game because we know a lot of people didn't buy it. Did you play the beta? Did you see the game? Let us know how you felt when you saw it, because I'm telling you, even the name of the ship was like Star something, and it was like, yo, that's close to Star Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy. They knew what they were doing, designing this game like this, and it bit them so hard in the butt cheeks. But
I'm sure the downfall of this game cost somebody their job. I just don't understand how this game came out to $400 million. On what? Especially when you say you played a beta and it was still fucked up, like how it was. Like, where did $400 million go? And that kind of makes sense. Sony trying to write some of the losses off because, baby, where did that money go? Somebody down there was doing some type of money laundering or something. I'm playing. It's a joke, I'm just playing. I'm not saying anything. Sony don't
allegedly,
send us no letters. But like
allegedly.
I just don't. Where did $400 million go? This is probably the biggest mystery of gaming fiascos ever. Maybe we need to do a let's talk on just and really. Listen, it might not be anything we can research because Sony probably removed everything, every historical blueprint or footprint ever for Concord. But yeah, like my cousin said, let us know. Did you play the beta? Were you one of those lonely souls that bought this game? And then when you finally realized that 2 weeks later, baby Sony said, here your money back. Were you hit with the forced refund? Let us know in the comments below. This was a funny topic. I can't believe this is even real. Sony out here manhandling people like Nintendo lawyers. Moving
Mm-hmm.
on though. Moving on. Let's Concord rest.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time,
Are you not entertained?